Google Glass is a new type of wearable computer that looks a little like a set of designer everyday glasses. It is voice activated or can be controlled with a variety of different gestures on the side.
It has an array of basic commands for you to say, for you to give it information. You basically just talk to it and it responds and it searches on the internet for all the information that you need.
So there are lots of different issues that come about due to Parkinson's. It's a progressive condition that affects lots of different things, mainly movement-wise. So people have, for example, a tremor or lots of stiffness. They have issues with doing lots of day-to-day activities.
So in this research, we're looking at the ways in which people with Parkinson's can use this technology to help them, provide them with prompts whilst they're out and about, reminders to help them live more independently, but also at the ways in which it might allow them to use things such as smartphones and mobile phones in a simpler way. Because it's a lot easier for them to use their voice, for instance, to interact with this technology as it is to use their hands with a normal mobile phone.
So one of the things that came up a lot in the workshop that we did with the volunteers was this loss of confidence due to having the Parkinson's and kind of a lack of desire to go out and about by themselves, really for fear of something happening in relation to the symptoms. For example, if they have a freezing episode when they're out and about on their own. And what Google Glass can offer there is a system that will allow them will support them as they go out and about in their daily lives and give them some connection to a loved one at home, for example.
The feedback that we've received from participants has actually been really, really positive. Many of them feel as though that the technology might make them feel more confident whilst out and about. It provides an easy way for them to make phone calls with people that perhaps they need guidance and advice from. For people with Parkinson's, there's lots of challenges that they might have in terms of taking their medication at the right period of time. So they've also made lots of recommendations about how the technology might provide prompts and cues for them to take their medication at that right moment, because it's absolutely critical that they get it at that right time each day.
I suppose the main thing to come up from the deployments really was how much they enjoyed it, how much they enjoyed using it, how much potential they could see in the technology, and how helpful it could possibly be for them in the future to help support them in their Parkinson's and remind them to do different things like take their pills or remind them for their appointments, for example.
So Newcastle University has got world-leading research and reputation in human-computer interaction. In the digital interaction group which led this research, we have designers such as myself, computer scientists, domain specialists such as speech and language therapists, all kind of working together to contribute towards projects and to bring new technologies into be. The most important thing that we do throughout is that we work with users and communities who end up using these technologies, and by working with these communities and making sure they take a lead in the design activities, we tend to feel as though our research has a bigger impact.
The favourite part of the project for me is always working with the participants. Some of them I've got some personal connections with through other research, and some of them were brand new people I'd never met before. It's always really great to see how enthusiastic they are about the things that we do here at Newcastle University, and especially with something like Glass, which is so new. You know, seeing their enthusiasm for it and how great they thought it was really, really good.
Whenever we give participants a new technology, I think we're initially quite sceptical about how they might receive it. Maybe they might think we're giving them technologies for the sake of it. And actually they saw really great value in what we were doing, and they're really committed as well in taking part in the research in the future.
Just from the couple days I've used it, I can say it's been really useful to have in class to record, take pictures. You know, there's a lot of times where a teacher's saying something, I know I'm it's a lot to write down, and there's a good chance I'm going to forget it. So if I can just hit record, it's really helpful. I can play it back later. So that's been nice. Another thing, sometimes you're working on a worksheet and there's something you can't remember what it means. History class, maybe an event you don't remember, or a date you don't recall. You can just real quick Google it, and it'll pop up right in front of you in just seconds. So that's kind of nice. It just moves things along faster rather than having to open a textbook and find something out. You can get stuff done faster, so that's nice. The battery life is pretty low on those, so I mean, I don't know if it could get through a whole day of class without dying or needing to charge. So it's kind of frustrating. But other than that, I think they work the way they're intended to. It's kind of a process of learning how to use them. You're gonna get from it what you put in. If you try to make it a distraction, it probably will be, but that's applicable to a lot of things in a high school classroom. High schoolers can make anything a distraction. So if you're, responsible with it, if you're respectful of others, I really don't think it would be. I think it's gonna have more benefits than it will downfalls. It was kind of cool that it hooks up to your Google account, so all the stuff you say on the glass, you can look on your computer later, which it's easier than having a computer in class. You have to carry it around. It's something that can go right on your head, small, mobile, so it's pretty cool piece of technology.
The reason that I got involved with Google Glass is because I started a Google Immersion classroom last fall, and mostly in my English 10 classes, but I also started a hybrid course for creative writing. And at that point, I decided to do more of a Google Immersion experience. So my students, we worked it out so that we started with 10 Chromebooks and we've ended up now with 20 and are waiting on 5 more from the instruction office, at which time we'll have 25, which will be one-to-one. In all of that then, because I was so heavily immersed in Google, I saw the information and the news starting to come out about Google Glass. Google Glass was fascinating to me for a lot of reasons. We read a lot of literature about the future, like 1984 and Brave New World and those types of things. And I thought, wow, that'd be kind of cool to see something like that. In the process of actually looking at Glass and what it could actually do, Mrs. Barnes, who was one of our technology people, came to me and said, hey, Andrew Vanden Heuvel wanted to know if there's anyone in Forest Hills who would like to use Glass. And that's really how I got connected with Google Glass. And so that was very exciting to have the opportunity. I knew him, I knew that he would trust me, and to give it to students, to see what it would be about, to see if it would be something that would be useful in an educational setting. With new technology like that, you never really know, is it going to be useful for kids? Is it going to be useful for education? And the educational market is really where it's at with regards to Glass, because that's where they're going to make a lot of their money. If schools start to purchase class sets or even sets of 10 or whatever of these, and they can truly be useful for education, then it'll be exciting. However, it has a lot of problems. It has a lot of glitches. The battery life is low. It can go low, and it goes low very quickly. The more video you do, and the more pictures you take, the bigger the struggle to keep the battery going. So you have to have a battery pack right now with it. Sometimes it can become cumbersome. Other times, what teacher wants a kid to be speaking out loud and saying, okay, Glass, look up, blah, 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 right? On the flip side of that, a lot of teachers don't like phones in their classrooms. But yet students like to record what their teachers are saying in the class, or they like to take video of a lesson. And what better way to do that than on your face? And so instead of getting out their phone and holding up their phone, doing this, they are actually just watching the lesson and then recording it, and it goes right into Google Plus, and then they can watch it whenever they want. When they're reviewing, if they're sick, they can have a friend take the video. If they're sick and they want to watch it in real time, they can have a friend wearing glass and they could actually do it in a Hangout. So, watch the lesson through a Hangout. So there are a lot of different reasons why glass could actually be really, really useful in education. And there are a lot of downsides to it as well. So there are some things that Google can do that hopefully will enhance it for an educational setting. And in doing that, then it will provide students and teachers with a lot more opportunities and a lot more incentive to actually give it a go at really using this in the classroom.
If you ask people 10, 15 years ago, what is the cell phone or what is the tablet going to do for classroom learning, or why would you put a computer on teachers' desks, or why would you have computer labs? Maybe 20 years ago people were saying that, but now could you think of a teacher not having a laptop to show their slideshows or to help with delivering lessons, quality lessons? Could you imagine somebody not being able to pull out their iPhone or any number of cell phone devices in order to look something up? I have students all the time, if they have a question, I say, hey, listen, how about you inquire about it and find something? So, this tool might, 10 years from now, might be that thing where we can't imagine life before it.